What's up, Quadcopter fans? HangerDrone.com. Today I'm going to be flying my MJX X600. I have my controller here. It takes a few seconds for it to bind. Quadcopter is on. I do have a makeshift camera. As you can see here, I don't have the same sticks. I lost one of my sticks, so I just got an Allen wrench in there for now. Probably not the best thing to do to be flying, but that's what we're going to have to do today. We're going to go ahead and turn on this camera. I mounted a makeshift camera on the bottom too as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit the camera function. It is red. It should be recording now. This is actually for a different quadcopter. I had to rewire the plug in order to get it to work, but I wanted to get some onboard footage. So my Allen wrench set up wasn't working very well, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it into the intermediate mode. Just have my thumb here on the controls. I wasn't getting it was getting a very bad drift to the right. Not too sure if that has anything to do with the fact that I have this camera plugged into the bottom. It's not really supposed to be for this quadcopter, so. And using my thumb without the stick, probably not the greatest idea. Well, it makes it a little bit more challenging to get some lower throttle modes here. But it flies very well. Wish I had my second stick. Hopefully we're getting some footage out of this too as well. Not sure what to make of this hard drift to the right. Hopefully I don't have a bad motor. One of the motors, when I was putting the motor arms on, they had a bad wire on it, so try to trim it out, see if that helps out. Now again, it flew fine indoors. It does have this camera on here, which it's not supposed to have. That's something that's makeshift, and the camera was getting a little bit hot, which shouldn't happen as well. So this hexacopter is handles a little bit different. Seems like it's lacking a little bit of response and a little bit of lift. And again, I'll have to do a test without this camera on here, and a test with the second stick. It's a low and slow flyer. It seems to be handling pretty well here. Just do some loops back and forth. And that lack of a throttle stick is an issue too, so I don't want to just blame it solely on the quadcopter at this point here. Now there are some different throttle modes that we can adjust it to, so you can adjust, if you want more throttle. You can spring load the sticks by flipping up a few switches too, which is pretty cool. Got great pitch. Now it does have a more advanced flyer mode too as well, with some auto flips. So if you do put it in this advanced mode, just go ahead and do that now. So it is in the advanced mode, and if you push far over to the right, it should do a flip, which it does. Far over to the left. I found this out the hard way. I had this actually on my desk, messing around with it, when I hit that and it hit my computer screen. So it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a drizzle from the rain. So I'm not sure how long we're going to fly here today. Definitely don't want the quadcopter to get wet and or cameras to get wet, so I'm gonna start packing stuff up here. So I've got all my quadcopters out and exposed. So a little disappointed, not necessarily in the quadcopter, more so in the fact that I lost my stick. Got a weed in there. But it handles a little bit different than a quadcopter. Pitch on the low mode isn't as great as I'd like it. And that little bit of a lift issue there. So 700 milliamp battery. An eruption here with the cars driving by. So I do notice it's got this little bit of a lift dropout and almost goes into that wobble of death. So that's something to be mindful of. You know, I was planning on possibly hooking up my new run cam camera to this thing. Flying it maybe with the Mobius on the bottom. I don't think that it will have enough lift for some reason. And this isn't very heavy at all. You know, when you pick it up, very light. Plastic's very light, so it's kind of bizarre that it would be having any sort of lift issues unless, like I said, one of the motors is bad, but seems to be handling fine now. It was drifting hard to the right. Not sure why, but this is with the stick out. This with the hands off with the transmitter, drifting a little bit to the left now, but overall flying good. As it's getting a little bit darker, it is a little bit harder to see the orientation on this quadcopter, but especially if you can't see those bottom lights on it. So, you know, really I should figure out what I did with that stick so I can control it better, but for not having a stick, I think it's flying pretty good. So, probably going on 4 to 5 minutes now of flight time. And that little bit of lift issue there, not sure what to attribute that to just yet. I've seen that with some of the heavier quadcopters, you know, with low battery or improper blades on it, but these are the stock blades that this thing came with. Just hope I'm not frying out my board with the camera that doesn't necessarily belong to it. It's more of a MJX X5 camera. I had to flip-flop some wires. I didn't pop the shell off to make sure that the wires were in the correct polarity, because I was looking at some photos of other people that had taken their lid off. It matched up. Typically if it's the wrong polarity, then you're gonna see that right away with the board either frying out or something happening to the camera itself or the quadcopter shorting out. So it looks like we're getting the signal that we are running out of juice, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do a landing here with no stick. So we'll get it close to the ground and then we'll just drop out. So I don't have any prop guards on it. This landing gear is a little bit flimsy on it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense with the way that the landing gear is. Our red light is still on for the camera function, so we'll go ahead and we'll turn that off, hopefully. And we'll go ahead and power off the quadcopter. And if feeling the camera. Feels pretty cool to the touch. Doesn't feel like there's any overheating issues. So maybe it just needs some wind to cool it off while flying. Just standing stagnant, it is alone. It does have some issues there. So this is the transmitter. Obviously missing the stick that I've been bitching about this whole time while flying. Quadcopter. Very cool design, very cool look. Legs are a little bit flimsy, as you saw there. Doesn't really land very well with these flimsy legs on it, so those could be useless. And then if you look, I just have my camera on here mounted with some Velcro. $9 camera. You can pick these things up from Amazon, GearBest, wherever you want to get them, and they're pretty dirt cheap. So if you don't want to lose one and you got one of these JST 3-pin mini plugs here, you can slap one of these on there. Just make sure you have the right wiring and polarity. So again, MJX X600 Hexacopter. I'll leave a link in the description where you can purchase it. A little inconclusive on whether I like the way that it flies, just because of the missing stick. So I'll try to find the stick, bring it back out for a second flight, and see how I like it then.